Hi, I have in front of me a Humax HDR-1100S Freesat HD Plus box. Basically, it's a 500 gig unit. It's the latest from Humax, so it's got extra features like Wi-Fi built in that the previous versions that we stocked didn't have. Also, it's a lot more compact, and in terms of on-demand services, things like that, all of that stuff is integrated into it now. So it's sort of an excellent unit. An improved version of the company that already had, by some distance, the best Freesat products on the market. For the high-end Freesat Pluses, the only ones we're stocking are Humax, simply because there is no returns with them. They're absolutely super. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to give an overview of exactly what comes in the box. We'll come along then and we'll give a detailed look at the box itself. And then what we have here set up on twin satellite feeds is we have the feed directly in here. But just in brief, the reason that people go with the Humax is that you have the ability to look at one channel, record another. You can do Serious Link. You have a 7-day or 8-day actually EPG on it. You have automatic channel updating. So there are all the sort of key things that people are looking for integrated into a single box. So we look at the outer box here, you'll see it's bold in colour certainly, and inside it we just have the user manual and some other documentation. We have the power unit, so it's a 12 volt 4 amp power unit with it. We have an Ethernet cable here, so the Ethernet cable is just for networking on the box. I'm going to mention that later in it about restrictions and geo-blocking in certain locations on it and what services that impacts on. We have a HDMI lead on it, we have a set of AAA batteries, and we have the remote control here, and it's similar to the remote that are used on a lot of the previous versions, so that in itself is quite handy. Okay, so we're on to the main event here. I'm actually just going to, for the purpose of the video, I'm going to leave the plastic on here. One of the cool things on this is the buttons for thing have actually been integrated directly into the thing, so we just have the minus pluses, up and downs, and the on off button here, and then we just have a display on the front here. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to come around to the front of the box and take a detailed look here now at this point. So if we come along, just lift up the plastic here, we can just see underneath here. So we just basically have the sensor on the front here, but there's no buttons or anything to be pushed on it other than what I've shown on the top. And I'm just going to rotate the box around. Just look in here, and what we have is we were 2 satellites in here, satellite 1 and 2. You can run it on a single satellite feed, but obviously you lose a lot of the functionality, particularly the ability to record 2 channels at once or something like that, or view one, look at another if you're on different transponders. We have an RCA output here, so increasingly what we're seeing in a lot of things is a move away from SCART over towards RCA, so that's sort of on this thing here, and we have digital optical SPDIF output here as well. We have a USB port on it, a single USB port output on it, and we have an Ethernet thing here as well. We also have a HDMI output. Obviously most people will be using that, and what we have there then as well is the power input here. So that's where we'll put in our 12 volt power unit here. I'll just give a quick demonstration of it here. And that's just basically it. So overall, it's an incredibly compact little unit, and if we come down along here, if we just go in, we'll say we have a lot of videos that are covering the box and some detailed things like that, but the user interface on it is obviously quite lovely. So what we can do here is we can just go to TV guide, and we can start setting things up like Serious Links. We can go back and forward 24 hours. We can do all those sort of stuff, and then we have options in how we want to list it, etc. So overall, we'll say I think this product will be a winner, because the price point it's coming in at now is more competitive than it was before. So and that's another good thing. So effectively, Humax are giving more for less. There's increasingly competition in the market in terms of the Freesat thing, but we've trialed other boxes, just nothing comes close to it. Well, on simpler Freesat boxes, it's okay to go with lesser known or less premium brands. But if you're going for a Freesat Plus, because there's a lot of technology built in, and you want it to work flawless, and this effectively is like a Sky Plus box for the Freesat free TV world. In relation to, we'll say, the on-demand and services, things like that, most of these are geo-blocked. Generally, we'll say BBC and ITV geo-block, Channel 4 to a lesser extent. So if you're outside the UK, you shouldn't really have access to this. Now there is ways around it. People can Google, would say, geo-blocking, things like that, and see the different options on it. We don't go into detail on it really because there's some issues that there in relation to it. But even for the basic functionality on it, it's just an incredible box. So that's it anyway, an overview of the Humax 1100S Freesat Plus 500 gig set-top box.